This morning I'm going to be flying on what could very well be Australia's best all-round value airline on Australia's busiest flight route, a path so busy and competitive that it's actually the world's 5th most frequented flight corridor. And we're going to be doing it in style in business class on one of Virgin Express's many daily Boeing 737-800 services between Melbourne and Sydney. However, since Australia's largest regional airline outside the Qantas group began ambitious expansion into Australia's ultra-competitive East Coast intercapital city jet market back in 2021, this once primarily regionally focused airline, which was more associated with its huge fleet of Saab 340 turboprops, has received widespread praise as a value for money carrier for both business and leisure travellers alike. With so much hype going around surrounding the Rex jet service experience, I thought it'd be a no-brainer to give them a go for myself for the very first time to see what all the fuss is really about and whether the airline actually delivers on all the hype. So come join me on a routine flight between Melbourne and Sydney and see whether the airline's $349 business class is actually any good and see whether it can be considered a worthy alternative to Virgin Australia and Qantas. Good morning and welcome to Melbourne Tullamarine Airport here in Victoria, Australia. We're on top of the level 4 car park across the road from the Terminal 4 building. Very amazing place for plane spotting. But anyway, it's going to be a very exciting day today. We're going to be doing 2 new things for myself for the very first time. Things first, I'm going to be flying between Melbourne and Sydney for the very first time, which is the 5th busiest flight route in the whole world and by far the busiest flight route in Australia. That connects Australia's 2 biggest cities. Both have populations of over 5 million and both are neck and neck for title of biggest city in Australia these days. So this service between Melbourne and Sydney is one of the biggest flight corridors in the whole world, over 50 daily departures, over 500 weekly flights. So secondly, we're going to be flying regional Express Airlines, going to be flying on a 737-800, one of the old Virgin Australia aircraft that they have acquired, I believe. Really looking forward to this one, very new to the regional express game. Certainly know they've been operating jet services on the Eastern Australia, the main flight corridors, for quite some time now, definitely a few years. But for me, it'll be the very first time. I'm actually going to be flying in business class. Only about $150 more than economy, so very, very competitively priced. Expecting that will be similar to the old Virgin Australia business class. So yeah, without further ado, let's now head into the Melbourne Tullamarine International Airport Terminal 4 here and get checked in and head to Sydney. We're heading over to Terminal 4 now, which is where Rex operate, also Jetstar and Bonza. So yeah, definitely recommend going up to the top of the level 7 of the Terminal 4 car park. Really amazing opportunity for plane spotting there, so accessible. I don't have time to do a shoot there today, a little bit too early in the morning. But yeah, I've done it before, certainly couldn't recommend it high enough. Before we head inside, just a little bit of route information about the flight between Australia's 2 busiest cities. So from here in Melbourne, it's approximately 700 kilometres, great circle distance in a northwesterly direction up to Sydney today. It is indeed one of the busiest flight routes in the world. Immediately prior to the pandemic, there was up to 150 daily flights on the route and up to 54,000 flights a year. There's still many dozens of flights per day on this route. By most accounts and ratings, it's currently the 5th busiest flight in the whole world. So flights between Australia's 2 busiest cities really run on a bus-like schedule, especially with Qantas in peak times. It's not uncommon to have departures every 15 minutes. Anyway, onto Regional Express's check-in and bag drop here in Melbourne. Very much is largely an all automated affair here in Melbourne. That means self-service kiosks and also self-service baggage drop, though there is friendly staff on hand in case you need a hand. Checking in very much is a matter of just bringing up your booking. That can be done by your booking reference, your boarding pass, your itinerary, or searching by your name and flight. So yeah, just select your flight here and follow the prompts. Also, to check in bags, you also got to do the dangerous goods declaration. From here, the kiosk will spit out your boarding pass if you need another one, and also your baggage tags. Attach these to your bag and make your way to the self-serve bag drop. All very straightforward here again, very much following much the same sort of prompts. You just got to scan your boarding pass, plonk it on the conveyor, and yeah, off it goes to Sydney today. So check-in is now complete for Rex. Very straightforward affair here in Melbourne Tullamarine Airport. Largely automated affair now. Self-serve kiosk and bag drop. Largely self-service here. There is a service counter if you do need help, and friendly staff are on standby to help you if you need a hand. Whilst unfortunately there appears to be no priority queue for business class passengers going through security today, what is a real perk with Rex is that business class passengers get a 32 kilo baggage allowance. Even economy class passengers on the jet services still get a neat 23 kilos. It is now complete. Quite busy here on a Saturday morning around 7 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, thank God they've got CT scanners here at Terminal 4. Troubling with all my camera here, DSLRs, drones, laptops, all that sort of stuff. It's a real hassle when you have to take it all out of your bag. So yeah, very convenient just being able to leave it all in. Don't have actually much time to boarding, only about half an hour or so. But we are flying business, so we will be able to go to the Rex Lounge today. I visited here before with priority class, but yeah, business class will get me in the door anyway. So let's head over there now, get a quick coffee, and then yeah, we'll head on over to Sydney today. So you'll find the Rex Lounge adjacent to Gate 30 here at Melbourne Tullamarine Airport, so it's a little bit of hike to find it. Also, what is a slight downside is that you do need to go to the service desk to get buzzed in. So onto the Rex Lounge itself. If you're expecting a Qantas Club or a Virgin Australia lounge style experience, you're certainly not going to get that with the Rex Lounge. Very much is still a regional lounge here in Melbourne. Really small, not a huge amount in the way of food and beverages. Really just a few continental breakfast options at this time of morning, a coffee machine as well. It's got juice. There is a small service bar as well. That doesn't open to 3 p.m. Not a huge amount of window views in this lounge. There is a couple windows, but they're placed quite high up, so you don't really see too much plane action outside. In terms of amenities, there's a small range of seating in the lounge. There's also a plasma screen TV. There's also a few business facilities as well, but surprisingly there's no bathrooms inside the lounge. I do note Rex do appear to have a pay per entry system for their own flyers on Rex. I think it's $33 if you got a discounted fare, a little bit cheaper if you're paying the full fare. Probably wouldn't really worry about paying this fee to visit the lounge. Maybe after 3 o'clock it might be worth it, but yeah, really not worth it in my opinion. And to be honest, definitely prefer the Sydney Rex Lounge over the Melbourne Lounge. A little bit more spacious, a little bit better also in terms of amenities. Yeah, just a quick visit to the Rex Lounge today. How would I describe it? It's okay. It serves its purpose. It's perfectly acceptable, but it's nothing to write home about either. If you're flying business class, well worth checking it out. Just there 10-15 minutes or so. Enough time to get a cup of coffee and an orange juice. But yeah, there's not really a huge amount in terms of food. Just a few breakfast cereals, nothing much else. You can also visit there with priority pass as I have done before. If you've got complimentary access or unlimited access for your plan, well worth checking out. Good place to just chill if anything else. But yeah, if you have to pay for it, I don't think it's worth paying for, particularly for a morning flight, because the alcohol is not available to 3 p.m. And just like that, here's our Rex 737-800 taking us up to Sydney today. So here's our ride today. It's Victor Hotel Romeo Quebec Papa. Almost 14 years old, this Boeing 737-800 was first delivered to Virgin Blue back in July 2010. Shortly after, the airline changed name to Virgin Australia that we know today. That was in May 2011. Rex Airlines first acquired this aircraft in March 2021. I think generally speaking the arrangement for Rex is that they lease most of their Boeing 737-800 aircraft. I'm not actually sure if they actually own it. And just like that, just gone 8 o'clock on a rather overcast morning here in Melbourne, and boarding is commencing on time from gate 13. Flying business class today, that does mean I have access to the priority boarding lane here with Rex. Good to see the airline is policing it to ensure it's exclusive for the right passengers. So can pretty well board at my leisure anytime during the boarding process this morning. It's not just for business class, but appears to be across the board. The whole boarding process seems to be very orderly and efficient here with Rex Airlines. Being the busiest flight route in Australia, one that's very competitive and one that attracts quite a big business market. That's definitely a key feature of the experience you'd like to see. So welcome on board the Regional Express Boeing 737-800. If you're looking for any sort of drastic design change from the usual landscape of aircraft in Australia, you'll be sadly disappointed. It is an old Virgin Australia plane and nothing really much has changed on the inside. Interior is all very much the same indeed. Today I'm sitting at the pointy end of the plane in 2 Alpha, which forms part of the very cosy little business class cabin that Rex have. Just 8 seats in a 2-2 configuration. Behind me in coach, according to the seat map, there's an additional 28 rows or 168 seats in a standard 3-3 configuration, making for a total of 176 seats on the whole aircraft. Back to the business class seat itself, it very much is the usual Virgin Australia seat that you've come to know and expect. Only thing difference is they've replaced the Virgin Australia branding on the headrest to Regional Express. So yeah, these seats are obviously nothing mind-blowing, but they're definitely a comfortable leather recliner seat nonetheless. Very comfortable for the short little hop up to Sydney. Got adjustable headrest there as well, which is really good, and a good level of recline. Seat pitch is 38 inch, so noticeably better than economy. There's no built-in IFE screen, unlike on some Qantas 737-800 flights. There's no extendable footrest either. This morning there is a pre-departure beverage service. You either got an option of orange juice or water. I think the bubbles may however come out later in the day. Also handed a complimentary Wi-Fi access card, which was a really pleasant surprise. Did enjoy that pre-departure orange juice on the little centre console cocktail table there. Also has a little tray that extends out. Also got the fold back tray table that actually pops out of the armrest as well, which is a pretty decent size for the in-flight meal later in the flight.
For Sydney, our flight time today will be approximately 58 minutes. My name is Vivek and it is my pleasure to be your cab manager on board today's flight.
So without further ado, what better time now to just sit back, relax and enjoy our taxi out to the runway and our takeoff out of Melbourne Tullamarine Airport this morning. Then once firmly in the air, well and truly on our way to Sydney, I'll then assess the full Regional Express business class experience. that we're well and truly on our way, heading up to cruising altitude on our way to Sydney this morning. Let's first have a look at the in-flight entertainment options available on Regional Express. As stated earlier, there's no IFE streams on Rex. What you do get is in-flight magazine. It's not a bad little read here. Also, you do get the Regional Express stream to your own device entertainment system. So this is available to both economy and business class passengers. In terms of TV shows and movies, probably not as extensive as Qantas and Virgin Australia, but I'm really just impressed that Rex have it in the first place. Definitely a few TV shows and movies to tie you over. No in-flight moving map, however, it appears. In terms of Wi-Fi, as stated before, it is complimentary for business class passengers. Works reasonably okay for general browsing, though I did try it for heavier things like streaming, and yeah, that didn't really work. You can, however, also purchase it, various packages for economy class passengers. As for what you can expect on the Regional Express business class service in terms of meal, as it's a mid-morning flight this morning, very much a brunch service on offer. Friendly cabin crew member comes around and explains the various options available and takes our orders. Also offers a drink of our choosing ahead of time. So I go with this nice little coffee here, very well presented indeed. As for the main meal, very much a brunch sort of service today. Quite a substantial offering available, comes accompanied with a salad and also some sort of pastry. Whilst impressively, when you are flying economy class on Rex, you do get a complimentary sweet or savoury snack in addition to tea, coffee and water. When you're flying business class, in addition to this meal that comes all plated on the one tray, in supposedly recyclable and disposable cardboard packaging. You also do get access to a full range of soft drinks, teas, coffees, beers and wines. I asked for a glass of sparkling, and what I was really impressed on today's flight was that the cabin crew actually explained all the different wine options that were available. They even poured my sparkling at the little centre tray table there right in front of me, something I've never ever experienced on any other domestic flight in Australia. So kudos to the cabin crew member for that. So overall, pretty good brunch service on the way up to Sydney today. We're making pretty good progress on our way up there now. Also asked for a beer. They come around with this Bolter XBA craft beer. Really nice. Drop this one. Quite hoppy. Very enjoyable indeed. A little bit more complex than your usual sort of easy drinking dry sort of beers that you'll usually find on Australian Airlines. But yeah, back to the meal service itself. Only thing I'm not really a fan of is the whole cardboard box packaging. Definitely prefer proper Chinaware to be served. And just like that, we've made excellent progress on our way up to Sydney now. So what better time to sit back, relax and enjoy our descent into Sydney Kingsford Smith International Airport this morning. Then once on the ground, I'll offer my final thoughts and verdict on today's experience.
passengers who may have a connecting flight onto our regional network this morning, please make your way inside the terminal and head to gate 2. Finally, on behalf of your captain today, Paul Shipley, and your first officer, Peter Lonigan, and your entire crew today, Crystal, Kylie, Ocean, and myself, Devesh, would like to thank you for flying with Rex today. It's certainly been our pleasure to have you on board, and we do look forward to your company when you next choose to fly. If Sydney is home, welcome home. If you are staying for business or leisure, we do sincerely hope you enjoy your stay. Thank you very much once again, and have a great afternoon ahead.
I've been incredibly impressed as a first-time flyer of Regional Express, and in particular their business class product today. I think it's a very competitively priced product, and what you get for the price you pay I think is pretty good. $349, definitely a lot cheaper than Qantas most of the time, and usually marginally cheaper than Virgin as well. I think I really appreciate the extra competition that Rex is bringing to the market in Australia, so I really hope they do expand their jet services more across the country, maybe even one day go coast to coast and service Perth to the east coast as well. That would be really amazing. Also do note, Regional Express have recently started their own frequent flyer program. They also do have plans to expand and build new lounges. So I think these are the two probably things that Regional Express really need to improve on in order to be able to truly compete with the big boys in the Australian market. And just like that, welcome to Sydney, New South Wales, the good old harbour city. Probably still the biggest city in Australia. Some say it's Melbourne, some say it's Sydney. Not really sure, but nonetheless, great to be here again. Funnily enough, I've taken several hundred flights in my life, and I've never ever flown between the two biggest cities in Australia. So yeah, today we flew on Rex, and what a way to do the first flight between Melbourne and Sydney in style. That was an absolutely fantastic flight today. Couldn't recommend Rex enough. Flying Rex today, what more could I say about them? Never actually flown Rex before, let alone on their 737-800 jet services. And yeah, absolutely amazing experience today. $349, it's a very competitively priced business class. Certainly a lot cheaper than Qantas, and possibly a little bit cheaper than Virgin as well. So in a nutshell, very satisfied indeed with Rex today. Fantastic airline, fantastic service. And yeah, I think they really stand true to their value added prospect. Really good inclusions on Rex indeed. So yeah, everything was pretty good today about Rex. Good food, good drinks, good service. And yeah, it was a very punctual way to travel between Australia's two biggest cities. Left on time, arrived about 15 minutes ahead of schedule, so absolutely no complaints. $349, a very fair business class product indeed. So thank you very much for watching today's inaugural Regional Express review on the AussieJetSetter YouTube channel. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, really appreciate it. Give that video a like and leave your comments down below in the description. Most importantly, if you can, subscribe to the channel and turn that bell and notification button on if you haven't already. If you enjoy my content, whatever brings you to the channel, that would be really much appreciated. Plenty more exciting content coming up on the channel. We're only in Sydney for about less than 24 hours. We're heading over to Norfolk Island first thing tomorrow morning, and then onwards to New Zealand. So there are going to be some very interesting flight reviews as we head to Australia's most populated external territory. But yeah, in the meantime, don't forget to visit me on my dedicated socials. I'll put a link in the description below to my Instagram page and also my AussieJetSetter YouTube Shorts channel. Also visit my dedicated Discord server, really trying to get that up and running for fans and community of the channel to discuss all things aviation and travel. Until next one, you can also visit my website, AussieJetSetter.com.au for latest and flight reviews, industry news, destination guides, frequent flyer hacks and more. Till next one, thanks very much for tuning in and safe travels wherever that might take you.